Okay, so beginning of episode 3. I'm here in California, and you have wild deers walking around, and little hummingbirds and squirrels coming over to say hi with like a curiosity. That's unlike the ones in Denmark when you're in the cities. And there's a different climate here. You see this sand and those kind of pine trees is a bit similar than places that you can find in Denmark, but I mean, why is everything just more insane here in US? I mean, just look at this tree, I'm living with one of my good friends who's a manager for food and beverage at this country club. One of the probably the most popular country club in the States. Is like $400,000 just for an entry fee, and then you have to pay after that. So it's like people like the mayor of New York, who has memberships. But like, I mean, my friend is super chilled, and I'm just living at his place, and he's providing everything for me. And I just landed, and it's called the Monterey Peninsula, and as you can see here, this is the ocean, and it's probably the most expensive place to live in the States, at least one of them. And it seems overrated because we're just living in a really, really regular house, which would be like nothing in Danish, but it's the location. The location here is insane. Again, it's not something that I don't see in Denmark, or in Skåne, Halland, or Blekinge, like in southern Sweden. When I've been doing my hikes there, you have these really harsh plants that needs to resist the winds and the salty water coming in from the sea, and like just sand, not real soil. And to be honest, like, this is my fucking favorite kind of fauna and flora. It's just extremely beautiful, and also really untouched by agriculture. This is just how it looks like. It looked like here before the Wachichu came, the white man tribe came and killed all the indigenous people. It looked like that when the people who originally lived here were one with this area, who saw everything as alive. The deers over there, if they would hunt those, they would see them as if they did a sacrifice, as the deers sacrificed themselves for the hunter, and they would do a small ceremony. They still do that when they hunt here, saying thanks for your offer. And usually they would just pick the deer out that was like too sick to follow the herd, and they'd pick them out, kind of scavenge from the circles of the ones that nature didn't saw fit to survive anyways. They would become a sacrifice for us humans instead. What the fuck happened? You just see these signs about how the dunes formed. So I'm here. I'm not really jet lagged because the flight over here was flying with the sun, so the time actually stood still, and I had this amazing experience in the plane where I would look out and suddenly I would look down. I was like, what's that white? Is it clouds? And then I realized it's just huge continents of pure ice flakes from I don't know what you call it in English, but in Danish it's called the inland ice, surrounding the North Pole and Greenland area. And I'd just fly over this, and you could just see for miles dunes in total white snow. I can't even begin to describe what happens to me when I look at that. and like to make it even more unreal, the sun was setting like just before it went down, so you just had this like small, you know, infrared, really glowing, almost orange lamp, just creating an insane sky of pink and green and gold and yellow. And it would just stay there because we were flying with the sun around the curve. So I had like 2 hours of sunset over the inland ice. And some of the people in the plane, they weren't even looking, they were just watching movies. You know, I was just sitting, looking out the window, crying, thinking like, this is, we're gonna be all right. We know the poles are melting, yes, and this is insane that such a large scale of climate changes are happening. But when you see how much space where no humans are, then you know, it makes you calm down, like, oh, not all is electric, not all is human polluted yet. And also to think that, you know, the first people who came to America actually wandered over Alaska and over the Bering Strasse. I don't know what call it in English, but like it's a canal between Canada and Greenland that is sometimes melted, and at some point it was frozen and people would wander over there. And it must have taken generations in just pure snow, a whole life where you just get born in pure snow, you know, and survive from seals. And you know, you still have those kind of people. They're called the Inuit people, and they're from Greenland. Unfortunately, they were colonized by the Danes, the white Europeans as well. A really terrible story, but they still exist, and they still have, some of them still have connection to their roots. You know what, I can't believe that I'm becoming one of those fucking millennials with, you know, talking to myself in the camera like a true YouTuber. So, but you know, it's my video diary, and I'm just trying to get used to this. And then I'll look back and, you know, like collect the thoughts that I did. Anyway, so I flew over here and I landed. Okay. I landed here in California last night, and for some reason I was interrogated for an hour and a half by the Homeland Security, because, you know, I'm staying here for 2 months, and they were like, "What are you doing here 2 months, and why don't you have any cash on you?" I was like, "I'm trying to get into this retreat center where I can volunteer," and they're like, "Okay, so do you have a home? Do you have any money?" And like they were like really interrogating me. I was like really scared. And many years ago I was actually thrown out of the Moroccan airport for having a page lacking in my passport. They just sent me back. So I was like really afraid that it was gonna happen again. But they let me through, and I took an Airbus shuttle to Monterey, where my friend Lars picked me up, and I wrote an email to this guy, Dr. Drummond, who's the director of healing arts at Esalen, and said that now I'm here and when I can come and visit. So what has happened since my last video? Well, a lot has happened. I had a business meeting with my partner Mads, who's the biologist, about the social media presence and how we were gonna do that, and also to like kind of get more near to this workshop that we want to have. Like what is this workshop gonna be about? So this is Big Sur, and Bay Area, and I don't know if it for some reason it won't zoom, but if you see out here, you have real fucking American Californian surfers. I mean, how authentic is that? And